Good morning, St. Louis. Welcome back to another episode of Who's Talk. This one ain't really the mobile, man. Like,
Yeah, this ain't the mobile.
This table talk. So this Who's Talk, where conversations get deep and intellectual. I'm your host, Artemis Caldwell. Y'all know my face, you love it. Founder and CEO of Who Is Incorporated, the best nonprofit organization out there. If you don't know, now you do. And y'all know my team.
Co-host, Gabe Coach, founder and CEO of a real estate company here in St. Louis called Flip St. Louis. We working on some things right now, but that's me.
I'm over here in the back. It's Aviana Norrie, y'all. Y'all know me. I'm always a busybody. I stay doing something, whether it's music, whether it's community organizing. It's always something with me. So just please stay tuned.
And we got a special guest, a special honor for our first visit, for our first office visit, for our first sit-down table talk. This brother is like, for real, a great mentor. As always, made sure that I wasn't in the streets, but made sure that when I do my thing, and put yourself all into it. This man, look, thousands of great words, and then also attack the community and make you think. Brother Rob, look, brother, thank you. Thank you for real for coming on to the show and blessing us with your presence. I really want you to just kick off knowledge to us and really drop off whatever you feel like we need.
First of all, I appreciate being here, man. I appreciate being amongst, you three, giving me the honors and the pleasure to speak to y'all and be the first one in the office and demonstrate with y'all. So that's a blessing. That's really a blessing, and I want to give thanks for y'all welcoming me out. So I'm prepared to build with the fold on any this topic of discussion that y'all want to build on.
And look, because I know we talked about a lot of stuff off air, but I just want to jump into it. I know I'm always, but like, I just want to ask you, first off, give me your stance on segregation.
Well, my stance on segregation is my people first. That's not a racial overtone, that's a self-loving overtone. In order for my people to rise above, they must be segregated from everything else. And during that time of segregation, they must be taught properly. They must be educated properly. So I would request that our people be removed or segregated from the norms until we can have an education that can bring us the knowledge of self. So we'll understand that even though segregation may appear to be a negative connotation or made to appear to foster some form of racial disharmony, actually segregation is a beautiful thing when you must bring your people out of something that's not good for them and separate them until they know better. That's my position, brother. Yes.
I like how you flipped segregation into a positive term. Because normally when you hear segregation is not related to anything of the sort. I'm a firm believer you have to separate yourself from people who are not meant for your energy. And you have to kind of isolate yourself in order to understand what's good and what's bad, what's surrounding you, if it's really going to benefit you, and if it's not, then you have to learn how to love from a distance, and you have to learn how to grow from that. And I think that when we hear segregation nowadays, it's always related to slave time. And we can't. Our minds are not big enough to wrap around that. It can be more. When I heard segregation, like I said, it isn't flipped for me like that. Right. So I'm glad that it was open. That was really good for me.
I was going to ask you. So how do you feel?
Let me make one more statement to segregation.
Okay.
To justify that to those who may think it's negative, when it could be a good thing. The European British segregated themselves from Britain when they came to America because they didn't want to deal with the King James over there. So they segregated themselves, left Britain, then came to America. So that was a quote unquote beautiful segregation because it benefited them not in a good way, even though they segregated was in a good way from King James in England and came to America, but they did have that segregation from the king that they felt was good. So segregation is not necessarily bad. It can be a good thing, a great thing.
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna ask, how do you feel segregation helped us out when segregation was institutional in the laws of America?
Well, segregation helped us out at that time because it allowed us to view America in a separate way, as opposed to America being forced on us, the views of America being forced on us before segregation. During segregation, we established this businesses, we established the education, we established a limited identity, we established land. So at that time during segregation, that was a beautiful thing because it allowed us to establish something for us, by us, while we were segregated.
So now we're gonna dive into it because when you say that, that's talking about Black Wall Street, Rosewood. Now, how do you feel? Because when we talk about having black leaders, it's on the tip of how they have killed everybody that we've known. You know what I mean? On the tip of, if you step out of line, when I say they, I mean just the powers that be, they have shown their hand and was like, okay, we've seen it with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, even close at home when we have the young brother from Ferguson, just more so, it's scary to be a black activist. You know what I mean? So with that being said, what's your take on fear for the black community? I'm curious.
Well, when I look at fear, fear was established during slavery. So at that time, the things that were done to our people were done in the presence of our people to our people. So let me give you an example. You know, when during slavery, when the black man and the black woman was whipped, the black man stood there while the black woman was being whipped. That was to instill fear in him, to tell him, to teach him that if you do this, you're gonna receive what she get. At that same time, when the black man was being whooped, the black woman was right there watching him being whooped. So that showed the black man and woman who was watching that whooping that if you did the same thing, you would receive the same result. So that instilled a fear in them. That same fear is generational. My grandmama, your grandfather taught us to fear them. So you, out of ignorance, teach your kids to do the same thing, and that generational fear continues to perpetuate today. Okay. So now you have some black leaders who are not scared, but in a sense have fear. Let me say what I mean. You're not scared to tell your people this, but you really ain't gonna act on it because you're scared of them.
Gotcha.
We got you. That's what's going on today. You'll tell your people this, but on the other hand, you're scared of them to really implement what you tell your people. That's still fair. So the leaders today, 90% of them, black leaders, they scared. They are cowards. And I'm going to say coward means a coward is one who has a deficient amount of courage. That's a coward. Many black leaders are cowards. And until we have the strength, brother, to overcome that fear and be fearless, unafraid to die, then that's the only way we're going to change our condition for being black leaders here in America.
The organization that I work for, C2, it stands for Center for Third World Organizing. It's majority black people. Now, when I was given the opportunity, the teacher who gave me the opportunity was more or less scared for me because of the type of work that I was about to take on. He was like, to shorten it, you don't want to be involved with that type of image, with the type of career that you're trying to build for yourself. My response in return was, well, I'm already kind of speaking on it, you know, with whose thought. Yeah. I use us as a prime example, like, well, to be honest, sir, I'm already doing the work. Yeah. So I can't be afraid of what other people are thinking of me because I'm speaking for people who won't do it. You know, because at the end of the day, it's all we have to be able to beat out of that whitewashed down fruit. That's all it is. When you really think about our history and where we were supposed to be versus where we are deemed of now, it's disgusting. You know, because we got everybody thinking that in order to be successful, you gotta be ratchet. You gotta sex sales nowadays. You know, we just had somebody talking about, you know me, I'm always related to what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jermaine Dupri right now was just talking about how female rappers are just strippers.
Strippers, yes,
So-
yeah.
But in reality, we have artists out there who are talking about everything that you want them to talk about, but because their sex isn't selling, we don't give them the same recognition. But that's only because we're taught that in order to be successful, you have to do this. You gotta look like this. You gotta talk like this. You gotta walk like this. But we don't have nobody who is willing to step outside that mold anymore, and we don't have people in the right positions and on the right platforms to teach us better as well.
Sure.
So nowadays we kind of fending for ourselves, and people who like me are still learning this whole conscious thing, or we don't really know who to look to because everybody's still confused their damn self, you know?
Now, do you think that that was like a culture that we created, or do you think that that was a culture that was somewhat forced on us?
Both.
That was forced. I saw forced on.
I say both because me personally, when I make my music, I don't make it for them. I make it for me. So when whatever I do, I'm doing it with my story. Now sometimes, you know, I kind of feel the pressure because, you know, the music industry is very hard. So it's kind of like you almost want to cave in because you want that success so bad. But then on the other hand, you have to weigh your options. Are you willing to sell your own morals and beliefs for that success? Is it really that important? And I've come to find out that even though I'm still growing in the process, I don't want to lose who I am in this art.
Yeah.
My art is more important than what y'all think, or not y'all, but whatever society says is selling. I don't do this for society. I do this for me and my people. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, then it's not for you.
Well, let me add to the conversation right quick. When you talk about a culture, America is not our original culture.
It's not.
So
It's not.
anytime you doing what you're doing today in America, you have been Americanized. So the brother asked the question, you know, did we make this up as our culture, or was this forced on us? Both of them, not just one. So when you look at the television, and we know who the media is owned by, so they're going to depict a certain image of black folks for a reason.
Right.
So that's forced on us. Then, out of self-hate, we accept that identity and then we act on it. So it's both of us. So now what you have is you have female rappers who dress provocative. The messages that they send is negative, but that's an attitude that they personally adopted because they don't have to do that. Because you got conscious rappers ain't gonna do that. So that's a choice you make. But your identity in moving in that direction is clearly a product of Eurocentric ideology.
And I really do hate that we always blame the other person when we still have a part to play in it.
True.
You know, at the end of the day, if somebody come to you and tell you, hey, I need you to do this, but you're gonna get this amount of money. But if that's against your morals, are you really gonna go for it? You have to be. It's almost like desperateness. You desperate for this, so you gonna fall for whatever somebody putting in front of you.
And that fall into the two things, like how you said, where in the music industry you will have a conscious rapper who may be darker skinned, but then you have a singer who may look like Janae Aiko, where light skinned, but she ain't singing about it.
But she gonna sell.
But she gonna sell.
Yeah.
Why? Because back in the day, y'all taught us the fair skinned people are better. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You taught us that, okay, don't nobody like your dark skin. Don't nobody like what you got going. You know what I mean? And now we're jumping into it. Just the second part was how they came with just how some of they would do when they asked about when they went to Africa, not necessarily Africa, but some people. Some missionaries Missionaries would go out and then they would tell them, like with the Peace Corps, they'd tell them like, hey, if your camp is raided and like people come, are you going to say, hey, I believe in Jesus Christ, or I'm going to like, cause that way, like, you know what I mean, you're supposed to say nah, that way you like stay alive, keep them, you know what I mean, it's a survival tactic.
Right.
But just to go back to what you said, is that really worth it? Because in the Bible it say, hey, if you reject me on earth, I reject you in heaven. So it's just like, and my friend Ben would always tell me that stuff. So yeah, now I want to ask just a real question. What is it like that y'all feel that should be owed to the black community?
In what terms? Material, financially, or what?
I say them all. I say in the tip of we have
So are we speaking on reparations?
reparations. Yeah, reparations.
Okay. When we talk about reparations, the thing that I don't hear anybody talking about, but a few conscious people, is first repairing the mentality of blacks. You can give black people billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in financial reparations, but history shows us that we are people who have the most and the biggest spending habits of any other people in the world. We are financial slaves when it comes to spending money. So if we speak about reparation, if we don't first repair the minds of our people, you know what I'm saying? Giving them money, financial reparations won't mean a thing, because attached to that would be like a rubber band. You give a person a fool and his money shall soon part. So if you pay us reparation financially, but at the end of that dollar's a rubber band because we spending it foolishly, then we haven't been repaired. So we have to first repair our mind. So how do we do that? We got to first learn the knowledge of self.
Everybody's so scared to learn. You know, I feel like you in my head.
Hey.
I was just gonna say that you can give somebody a whole bunch of money, but they gonna blow it because they don't know no better.
I mean,
You know, I think we had this conversation before with your friends. Would you give your friend? What would you do? Me personally, I've learned that if you're not willing to learn, it's like you're a lost cause. You have to be willing to learn, and learning nowadays is our biggest strong point, but it's our weakness, because some of us think it's stupid to read. A lot of us not reading no more. We so glued to our phones. I don't even watch TV. You know, the most I do nowadays is pay attention to my phone because it's my one networking source of business and stuff like that.
I'm gonna show you this. So what we arguing is the ability of focus. So you got people so focused, like it's like you got these blinders on. But yet, this could be success. This could be you so determined that yeah, you reached what you got. But in the meanwhile, you have missed everything on the outside. You see what I'm saying? So now what we talk about when you say repairing mentality, I love that. You hit on the note. So who is a spiritual organization dedicated to understanding identity and unity within the community. So what we do, we go out and we talk to one person a day and we get them to be positive, act selfless, and understand positive and negative consequences. So and through that, it's just we establish effective goal setting, character development, and personal development and character building. So it's just again repairing that mindset. That as soon as you come in, we look at your earthheadness, because a lot of people, when you flip segregation, when you flip that to be positive, a lot of people associate being earthheaded as negative. And then we talk about being focused. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people would be like, oh, I want to be focused versus earthhead. Well, if you want to look at this, we could talk about if you try to remember, like if you I'm gonna remember this 1 minute in this conversation, boom, just this minute. You're going to miss the whole conversation. You see what I'm saying? But you're going to remember that minute, though. That's good, but you were so focused.
Limited knowledge of the conversation.
And it's, like you said, people are so scared to open yourself that you not even so scared to open yourself. It's like you're scared to fall that you don't even like stand up.
Then they so worried about what other people gonna think. Like,
People
peer
conscious.
pressure and insecurities are such a real thing when it comes to growth. Because if it's not deemed cool or popular, don't nobody want to do it. I ain't never fit in no norms, and I'm proud to say it. Because why? I don't care about what other people think. I'm gonna be me regardless of how you feel, you know. But with that being said, I'm also open to other people's opinions, other people's way of life, this, that, and the third. I never judge a book by its cover.
We must also include that when we talk about reparation, we understand that the government of America financially limitedly repaired the Native Alaskans, the Jew contributed to the Jewish Holocaust, and paid reparations to the Japanese Americans. We talking about the government did this. But neither of these groups suffered a more detrimental and enslaved consequence as black people. You know, yet we haven't received one dime for our forced and free labor. We understand that in this country and in this world, you need an economy. So that money would help, but it can only help if our minds are repaired first. And let me say this, we are the biggest spenders and the biggest consumers. Reparation will not benefit us financially if we keep that same mentality. So if we don't first repair the mind, you got to first repair the mind. If you're going to talk about reparation, talk about repairing the black man and the black woman's mind first. Then you can start with reparations financially.
Okay.
What would you use to start that process though? Like where would you begin?
Well, where I would begin is that teaching. Most of our people have been conditioned to believe in knowledge that has been given to them by people that got them in the condition they in now. So in order for us to come out of the condition, we have to be willing to listen in order to receive the knowledge. Let me give you an example. If I tell you the sky is green and you believe it, instead of researching and discovering the truth, even though I may be lying to you, that's not going to do us no good if we continue to operate in the ignorance. So in order for us to exercise intelligence, we have to have that knowledge. We have to know. So you got something to say knowledge. You got to know the ledge before you fall over the edge into the devil's ignorance. That's our problem. You know, we don't know the ledge. That's why we in the devil's ignorance, because we don't know the ledge that we continue to fall over to. So we have to educate ourselves. Education, man. Real education is to bring out of you that's what's naturally inside. That's the root word, educate, to bring out. Well, you know, to the benefit of our enemy, he's wanting to miseducate you by putting ignorance in you, and you operate under that ignorance, thinking you educated. So before we can repair ourselves and seek reparation, we got to repair our minds. And through that, you got to have the knowledge of self, God, and the devil, and all three of them is in you.
Hey, that's an episode. That's an episode. Hey, I want to, Brother Rob, honestly, I want to say thank you for blessing us with your presence and your knowledge. We are most definitely gonna have you back. You're one of my most definitely special. This seat will always be open to you, brother.
And I appreciate the invitation from the king, the queen, the king, the king, the queen. I appreciate you coming out, man. Anything I can do to advance the agenda of our people, especially the young generations. To me, y'all fearless, because when you sit at a table like this and you discuss issues that's relevant to black progress, then that tells me that you are fearless. Because first you have to talk about it, then you have to be about it. And I see this in all of y'all. But I'm an elder, you know what I'm saying? I'm an OG, but I know what I know, and I can educate y'all on it, brother. You know? So I'm always available, man, to come here and sit down. I'm glad to be the first one to demonstrate the building the office. I'm the first one to read history. And thank you, brother, for letting me come out and deal with you. I'm glad y'all was present to hear a few words I had to say, and I hope they resonate with you, man. I'll be glad to come out again.
Okay, yeah. Hey, Brother Rob, we out. This man just dropped all of it. We out.